Thank you for joining me once again. This is my update for the 28th of October 2025. Let's talk about the situation in Ukraine as of today. Let's pick things up from where we left off yesterday. If you remember from my last video I made yesterday, I told you how Zelensky came out and announced that himself and the EU leaders were preparing a ceasefire plan to present to Russia. And he clearly stated he was certain that Vladimir Putin would not accept that ceasefire proposal. That was yesterday, the 27th. But today, the 28th, just less than 24 hours, Zelensky changed his mind. Everything changed. Zelensky made a big threat toward Russian Federation today. He said Russian oil refineries will pay even a bigger price in the next few days or weeks. And a decision had been made on the geography of strikes deep inside Russia to attack Russian oil refineries. Why has Zelensky made this sudden, shocking statement today, the 28th of October? We spoke about how his tone was different yesterday, the 27th. But all of a sudden, what changed today? What changed? Let's talk about it. We are going to figure it out together. Let me tell you what is happening. I'll tell you what I think and what I believe is going on here. The real reason why Zelensky had to come up with this provocative plan, he knows Ukraine has lost the Pokrovsk and the Kupiansk city, and it's just a matter of days before that is announced by Russia. At this point in time, Zelensky has no choice than to retreat. Now, when I mean retreat, I mean to call back the forces that are outside the city, those ones that have been trying to break the encirclement to allow the trapped forces to retreat. Zelensky had no other choice than to call them back because they will suffer too much losses if those forces outside the quadrant continue to try to break that quadrant. They will continue to suffer losses as they did yesterday. And this is why Zelensky have decided to come out to make some provocative, escalating statement. These cities, when lost, both Pokrovsk and Kupiansk, it is going to be the biggest defeat for the EU, Ukraine, and all the supporters of Ukraine, including the United States. And going by history, those of you that followed this conflict very carefully, going by history, every time they encounter a shameful loss, a massive, disgraceful loss, they do something out of character to sway the attention from their losses, to sway attention from the disaster that is taking place in their backyard to a different thing completely. Take for instance, and for example, the Kursk region situation. Remember when the Bakhmut city fell, Ukraine launched a provocative action. Remember when Mariupol fell, they launched a provocative action. And this time around, two major cities are going to fall in a space of a couple of days. So they are already planning a provocative, escalating attack into Russia. Guess what is going to happen? If that happens, in whatever case you look at it, if Ukraine launches any form of provocative attack or escalating attacks deep into Russia, Vladimir Putin is going to respond immediately. There is no question asked. And he is going to do more damage to Ukraine economy than he had already done. Have you noticed in the last few days, maybe almost a week, Russia had stopped bombarding Ukraine? What do you think? Do you think they ran out of missiles? No. They are on the drawing board, mapping out the next target if Ukraine does anything out of character. They are stockpiling their missiles and drones. When Russia is going to hit, they are going to hit really hard. If Ukraine does anything out of character, believe me, mark my word, you will say, I told you so. Russia is going to do something that will shock you and me. But will Zelensky think about all of this and behave himself? Will he come to his senses? Of course, never, because he is safe in Europe. He is not in Ukraine. I mean, Zelensky is not in the firing line. He is somewhere in Europe living a lousy, expensive life somewhere in Europe while the ordinary Ukrainians are suffering. That is painful. That is the most painful part. The people that had no hand in this are the one getting the end of the stick. The end of the stick. Now, let me finish up with something really interesting. A Ukrainian MP called Ruslan Gorbenok, he claimed that the armed forces of Ukraine had collapsed completely. Now, he claimed some battalions no longer have infantry. Out of 200 soldiers, only like 7 are infantry. The rest of them are commanders and signaller. Do you know that signal? I don't know. Signaller, I don't know what I mean. Those of you that are very good in military, whatever, you know what signalers are. He claimed that is a suicide mission for any country's military. No infantry, and you're going to the battlefront. You are finished. This is what Ruslan Gorbenok is claiming. If I call the name right, I'll leave his picture on the screen so that you can know the guy I'm talking about. He said out of 200 soldiers, only like 7 are infantry and the rest of them are commanders. How come we have so many commanders? No infantry, no fighting force, nothing, no attack forces. So the military had completely collapsed. And this guy made a very shocking, what will I call it? He made a very shocking suggestion, which I found really, I think the Ukrainian forces are going to find really offensive and really disrespectful. This guy called Ruslan Gorbenok said, sometime there are about 15 commanders to 1 soldier on the battlefront, and this lead to crash. It lead to an ineffective decision being made. And how can we have more commanders than infantry? The guy, I think they should send this guy to the front line to go out and experience what these soldiers are experiencing, because when they talk about it, it sounds really easy. They think it's like, going to a farm or going to market to do shopping. They need to send him and Zelensky to the front line to go and experience something really interesting. He said, what are they commanding? What are all these commanders commanding? Their formation and their movement become ineffective because everybody is trying to make different decisions at the same time. He is now blaming this for the fall of Popcroft and Kupiansk because there are too many commanders trying to make decisions at the same time. No infantry fighters and blah, blah, blah. Did he not know that before now? Why is he crying about it? Why is he talking about it now? Did he not know before now? And what the guy said at the end of the statement is what really annoyed me. He said, some of these commanders should now be demoted. They should be demoted and made to go to the front line. If they refuse, they should be imprisoned. That is what the Ukrainian MP said. Ruslan Gorbenok. Google him. You will find the information. Can you imagine? No acknowledgement, no thank you, no praises for the commanders and the armed forces. Instead, he's suggesting they should be imprisoned if they refuse to go to the front line because there are no more infantry fighters. There are too many commanders than actual soldiers that are supposed to be on the front line. What are they commanding? Send them to the front line. What about him? What about Zelensky? What about all the Ukrainian MP? Why can't they send them to the front line? Ladies and gentlemen, that is the brief update for today. Look out for the next video. It is going to be interesting. Please, as usual, if you found this information useful, give us a like so that they can encourage us, or as an indication so that we can put out more content like this. Have a great day and God bless.